One of the everlasting universal wealth creation concepts is that the more one gives, the more he will receive. This maxim has most likely been stated several times and in many different orders. Perhaps many people are familiar with the principle of karma. It stresses that individuals will eventually receive the consequences of their deeds. However, practically in every expression of that principle, there is something essential missing from the proposition. The element of giving may trigger receiving. However, deep down, everybody is well aware that there has to be more to it than that. Otherwise, everyone would be affluent and should lead a comfortable life. It is a well-known fact that giving is more divine and satisfying than receiving. However, people must first ensure that their priorities are set before deciding to contribute, because there is no gift to be offered without a donor, so the source must be sustained with utmost care. The universal law of giving and receiving has a remarkable impact on humankind in many ways. It either allows them to live in abundance or prevents them from doing so. The entire idea is to give away whatever one earns in life, and then the universe will return it to him after fulfilling a cycle of giving and receiving. As a result, the universal law of giving and the universal law of receiving go hand in hand. It is a cycle that needs to be finished. When somebody is needy, it is an act of decency to give what he wants. The strict refusal may eventually prompt the power of the universe to prevent the giver from giving anything. It will take away everything the person owns, leaving him empty-handed. Besides, if there is someone only interested in giving, the universe will stop the flow of the donations, as it is one-way traffic. The essence is to share what is in hand. One may note that giving something to someone does not guarantee that he will receive something in the bargain. He will probably not get it back in the same motion. One of the spiritual rules of prosperity and success is the law of giving and receiving. Because giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin, it might be considered a natural thing that stays perpetual. On a purely energetic basis, they are interconnected. Giving and receiving are closely linked, and people cannot think of one without the other. If somebody tries to interrupt the flow of either of these traits, the process will come to a halt. Although it appears to be straightforward that all individuals give in some form, yet all of them desire to receive something against it. People mostly don't know how to offer because they are perplexed by misunderstandings about the gifting process and restricting notions and concerns. They also don't know how to get over the subconscious barriers kept in between. Sometimes people believe they have been wronged and not given anything. It is common to know how upset some parents become when their children do not give a penny to them. They are so ungrateful for not giving their parents the attention and respect they need, even though they have received so much from them. Human motives are the first major blunder. This action was not supported by true intention when one gives to obtain something in return. Although it may appear strange, the fact remains that people only get when they give with the sole aim of helping others, and without expecting anything in return. If somebody believes that he has received immoral behavior from his family and is ungrateful, he needs to dig deeper and determine the reasons. In many ways, people are unaware of the underlying motivations. They frequently give away and never refuse to accept services because they are secretly expecting compliments. They believe this is the only option for them to get acknowledged. While doing so, many people are unaware that their actions are motivated by fear and apprehension. One should remember that the love and affection of others must direct his actions. It should not be out of need, fear, despair, or guilt to obtain something. One should not demand something specific from someone in return if he gives him anything of value. Any diversion would be a kind of coercion. Giving must be a conscious effort. It will have little effect if one does so unwillingly. Giving should not be viewed as a duty. The more people give to others, the more they will receive in return. It is the secret to leading a happier life. One should spread happiness and encourage others to repeat the same. People will throng around the donor to hear his doctrines. Also, they will experience the donor's affection toward them. They will come to know what is inside the giver. It is all about giving back in life. It is not about reserving something. Every day, people must count their blessings. They should put them in a pile that gets taller and taller until the spirits are engulfed in delight. When one stands up for what he believes is precious in his life, it becomes plain and simple. People will receive all that is beautiful when they feed the world with their truth. All that is great will come to them as well. To understand the working of the giving and receiving cycle, all people have to do is live from the heart. They will find a plethora of benefits. Nowadays, the cycle of giving and receiving is broken for many individuals, particularly women, who have been socializing for community services. They are told they are greedy if they want to do anything for themselves. When someone provides but does not get it, the energy flow is disrupted. Every individual must both give and receive. While generating that particular flow, nature tries to balance everything. Why are giving and receiving considered natural laws? Because everyone, by nature, is open to receive. People persuade themselves that they are worthy of all that life has to give when they receive. One should stop giving if he ever glorifies himself doing so. He needs to choose something special for himself, even if it is a gift on his part. People should make a note to present a gift to them at least once a day. One needs to love himself first, and he will find it easy to love others. Giving and receiving are both necessary components of happiness. According to the law of receiving and giving, the more people donate without expecting anything in return, the more they will receive in the bargain. Many individuals expect a decent return when they give something. This rarely occurs. When they offer someone their valuable time, energy, or money, they usually receive something positive in return. People can never receive anything without parting with something. It is a fundamental, universal law. The law of giving and receiving, an understanding. The law of giving and receiving is a universal energy that outlines the ongoing flow and exchange. It explains the best way to amplify anything that is to be shared with others. This concept appears paradoxical to many individuals. Giving and receiving appears to be diametrically opposite when people are focused on tangible things. The principles of energy work differently. To understand the law of giving and receiving, one must vigorously think about what he wants. To illustrate, if people want to experience more love and peace, they can spread that feeling among others. This law also applies to the material world, because everything tangible is built on energy. So, if someone wants to be wealthy, he must first spread the wealth. Sharing money allows individuals to broaden their perceptions, resulting in more abundance in life. People can start incorporating this practice into their daily chores by following 3 simple steps. These methods are not difficult to follow, but they do necessitate a clear and constant aim to be effective. The first step is to give regularly. One should give a present to everyone he meets. It does not have to be a monetary gift. It could simply be a smile, a valued positive intent, or a feeling of empathy. It is not so much about what is given to them. It is about the energy one exudes when one acts. The giver should spread love to everyone he meets, creating wonderful karma that will surely rebound. The next step is to figure out how to receive. People often lock themselves from the world as they go about their living. They occasionally have a one-track mind, wherein they can only conceive or accept occurrences in a single, unique form. Sometimes the donor feels guilty for what he has done and refuses to accept freely provided presents in return. When he ignores these inhibitions, he opens himself up to receive a never-ending supply of gifts from the universe, often in unexpected ways. The third and final step is to express gratitude and thankfulness for everything one has received. Only by being appreciative of what people already have in their life will they attract more of what they desire. Now people can effortlessly materialize what they want once they understand this balancing act, feeling appreciative yet expecting. The law of giving and receiving, the second spiritual law of success, is founded on the premise that everything in the universe runs through dynamic interplay. As giving and receiving are various elements of the flow of energy in the universe, every relationship comprises giving and taking policy. Mankind tends to interfere with nature's intelligence while blocking the flow of energy. To keep wealth circulating in human lives, one must give and receive. The term currency, money, comes from a Latin phrase that means to flow. Money is a representation of the life replete with energy people discharge. It enables providing services to others. Money, like a river, must continue to flow, else it would clog and become stagnant. It is kept alive and active through circulation. If there is a halt in the flow of life energy, and if the money is kept and hoarded, it will be prevented from flowing back into human lives. The most crucial aspect of giving and receiving is human intention. When a person gives anything joyfully, unconditionally, and heartily, the energy behind the act of giving multiplies several times over. If the giver is unwilling, there is no energy backing him. If people believe they have lost anything by giving, the gift has not been fully committed and will not result in communication. If people really demand love, they should learn to give love. If they need attention and respect, they should learn to reciprocate attention and give respect. Besides, in the case of financial prosperity, people should assist others in becoming economically affluent. People should learn to discreetly thank everyone with all the fair things in life, if they want to be blessed with all the joys of life. To receive more, one must give more. The riches of the universe circulating in human life are always accessible by people's readiness to offer what they possess. Although abundance has a physical manifestation, what is truly flowing is consciousness. Even a simple prayer, a thought of generosity, or a gesture of blessing can touch others. Human lives are a cluster of thoughts in this vast universe, and thoughts can transform into positivity. Giving a gift to everyone one comes in contact with is a great way to explore the law of giving and receiving. It does not have to take the form of tangible things. Caring, devotion, gratitude, and love are some of the most valuable presents to part with, and they are available completely free of cost. During adolescence, individuals are taught that they should never go to someone's house without carrying a gift. However, will the gift be given if there is no money to buy the same? The alternate way is to carry a note to the person to express his feelings for him. A flower, a compliment, or a sincere prayer, all are appropriate gifts. When people meet their friends, the onus lies in them to silently offer a blessing. This kind of silent giving is really effective. The essence is to give whatever is handy, and a positive response will always be there. The more one receives, the more he can offer. As a result, the giver's conviction will grow and expand day by day. The law of giving and receiving validates these real-time experiences. As the essence is one of pure potency and endless possibilities, nothing can deter a giver, or, for that matter, a receiver. No matter how much or how little wealth one has, he is essentially wealthy because the root of all riches is a sphere of true prosperity that caters to individual needs. The flow of life, the harmonic interplay of all the forces and constituents that create the domain of survival, is nothing more than giving and receiving. The mutual transfer of energy is a natural process with its unique rhythm, structure, and splendor. In the same way, human life unfolds. Everything that comes in the way is a gift generously offered by the universe. It implies that the idea of the exchange of pleasantries comes from a profound understanding of every other person's requirements. Individuals need to consider how many items have been freely offered to them without asking. They can participate in the law of giving and receiving and be incredibly contented. Nature provides for all of human needs and desires. It includes joy, compassion, laughter, harmony, and wisdom. One must seek these things first, not just for himself, but by distributing them among others as well. Everything else will surely fall in place naturally. The law of giving and receiving. The applications. Giving and receiving are two distinct facets of the same flow of energy that lies in the universe. It operates through a constant and dynamic exchange of thoughts. Men keep the riches of the universe circulating in their lives by their sheer readiness to offer what they desire. If someone prefers joy, he also has the responsibility to give joy to others. If he expects love, he needs to learn to give love in exchange. If one wants attention, he should learn to give attention to others. If he wishes to be rich, he should help others succeed. The law of giving and receiving is based on the principle of deliberately participating in the dynamic flow of affluence that is inherent in life. This law can be applied to every human life. Give regularly. Birthdays and other special moments are not the only occasions to exchange gifts. Every day, people have a multitude of possibilities to give. There can be a gift for anyone one meets on the way, who may be a stranger. It might be a sincere smile, a flower bouquet, an honest prayer, or a heartfelt compliment. The best present is to make someone feel better than they did before the giver had interacted with him. One must wish commuters pleasantries with utmost care. Give without restrictions. People boost the flow of abundance and compassion in their life when they give something to others. It amounts to possessing infinite joy and wealth. The gift is not genuinely given if it makes people feel inferior or if it is offered reluctantly. When one gives something of worth free of cost, the value automatically increases. The monetary value of the present is unimportant. What matters is the intention with which the gift is given and received. Receive with grace. Receiving is always a type of giving. The receiver provides joy to the giver when the giver joyfully accepts a gift. One may consider offering something to someone close to heart. Also, people should think about joy and possibilities that will arise as a result of the donation. They may apprehend what would happen if someone close to heart turns down an honest offer. People would probably feel insulted and unhappy. So one should be grateful for all of life's gifts. It includes sunlight, nature, food, and companions. One should accept gifts from others, whether they are material gifts, compliments, or thoughtful gestures. Filling up with the possibilities. Every person has some valuables to give. This is according to the law of giving and receiving. Giving is founded on spiritual sacrifice because people can offer what they have irrespective of both quality and quantity. It implies one must look within to access the limitless resource of inner wisdom, strength, and contentment. One should allow everything of his possible activities to be targeted toward the divine sacrifice of parting with precious things in life. Regular meditation, peaceful relaxation, a clean and balanced diet, regular fitness chores, stable and caring relationships, laughter, and play are all gifts one can give oneself. Individuals need to enjoy the physical medium through which the inner spirit can express its motivation and meaning in life. Offer abstract gifts. Intangible gifts, such as attention, praise, and compassion, are among life's most valuable presents. When people pay attention to somebody, they are fully conscious and listen attentively without involving in other activities and engaging in a spate of typical multitasking behaviors. They can offer the priceless gift of open-hearted self-presence and share their concern for other person's joy or grief. Giving contributes to both the physical and spiritual well-being of all inhabitants and the earth as a whole. The law of giving and receiving. The flow of circulation. According to the law of circulation, everything in the universe is constantly in motion. However, it is at an ever-increasing rate. One can receive from a different source what he offers to some individual. So, people do not have to donate with the hope of getting anything from the same individual. One should be confident that it will return to him from other sources. It operates as per the rule of cause and effect, which states that the universe will give back the same to him whatever one does. It is crucial to pay attention to how people respond to compliments, particularly when they are genuine and accurate. Is it to be dismissed, declined, or disregarded? People don't accept other person's compliments about them because they don't like praises about themselves. Therefore, one should learn to accept on his own to look at other people's eyes and express his gratitude. Accepting compliments is significant because it allows other individuals to give something in return. People should not turn down anything decent that comes their way. If some gift is offered, it should be accepted with gratitude. For example, one should not engage in a dispute if he is in a restaurant and the friends want to pay the bills. One must show his thankfulness and accept their gesture. One should allow himself to go of the negative notions about taking presents from others. If people don't want to be influenced by the law of reciprocity, they should do that, as a negative response is always damaging. If someone offers another person something he does not like or require, it should be given to any other person who will appreciate it. Everyone wins if it goes by this cycle. People are not only stopping the flow of prosperity in their life when they decline a gift from someone, but they are also limiting the flow of prosperity in the giver's life as well. Is it unfair to receive a gift if any gift is given to someone else? It is indeed important to remember that a giver exists side by side with a receiver. When one accepts a gift, he must remember that he assists himself and the giver in completing both the giving and receiving cycle. It is, of course, without a doubt that individuals have the right to turn down a gift if it is given with a malified intention. They have the right to deny a gift if they know it is being given to entice them to do something that is not just fair. True generosity is always motivated by love and affection. Giving is an expression of love, which is the purest form of human desire. One can accept what someone provides out of pure compassion. Even if the person is giving for the wrong motives, people have the option if they will accept the present. Any harm they create will be limited to them, while the giver will always gain. Every gift one receives from the universe should be treated as such. Whatever channels the universe chooses to offer, it is eventually the universe that is the donor. Even the sinner's wealth will be distributed among the just. Things improve as a result of positive circulation. These things deteriorate as a result of negative flow. People cling to things that will ebb and flow until they have nothing anymore. The law of circulation is unavoidable. If people try to prevent things from moving, they will continue to move, but negatively. It will be used to cover unforeseen costs, such as the replacement and repair of items that have been broken, stolen, or lost. One needs to examine areas of life where he cannot save money or feel it necessary to spend it. When someone gives away a portion of what he has, he declares that whatever he has belongs to God. The said portion represents the total. The part is accepted by God as if it were the entire substance. The share of people offered to God is rewarded, and the rest of the possessions are blessed. More money pours into their life when they freely circulate their money. All people are stewards of the riches of the universe. If they do not circulate what they have for the benefit of the universal chore, it will be taken away from them and given to someone who needs them desperately. One should not be concerned about self-centered individuals who refuse to give. Even what people hoard from the receiver will be made to be given to them by the universe if the donor keeps giving in flow. So it is guaranteed that the receiver will always have whatever he desires. No one will be able to take it away from the receiver. Hence, the giver should never refuse to give others what they want. Of course, one should not donate at random. Instead, he should give carefully and justifiably. Giving should be directed to the areas where it will have the most impact. People should donate to someone or somewhere that facilitates the donor's development or happiness. They should contribute to the place where they get spiritual sustenance. One should give to individuals who motivate, assist, and adore him. People should donate to a cause that brings both pleasure and joy. Besides, one must donate to the cause that makes him highly satisfied. The donor should devote the majority of his available resources to areas wherein he is personally committed. Because it benefits both the provider and the receiver, positive circulation raises the worth of wealth. As it is harmful to one or both sides, negative circulation lowers the value of things. When something is received, it gets merged and turned into something superior before being donated again. Negative circulation happens when anything received cannot be used and is released in a worse condition than before. The money-making scams are an apt illustration. Giving in lesser quantities but more regularly is preferable to giving in large amounts but in less frequency. It is the consistency of giving, not the size of the gift, that has the most impact. When individuals donate frequently, they are always in motion and never stagnant. On the other hand, as they offer huge amounts occasionally, they will stall the entire giving process and are said to be not contributing. One should compare the benefits of regular circulation to changing the water in a tank once in a while to keep it fresh and pure. When people give something to someone, they should always allow the recipients to return the favor, if they so wish. If they have permitted the donors to distribute their resources among them, the beneficiaries must reciprocate by allowing them to do so. Setting up an exchange process by having others pay for what the giver is willing to offer is entirely acceptable. It is also a technique of allowing circulation to occur, increasing human welfare worldwide. Of course, people cannot provide something they don't have. It is indeed wonderful to have wealth so that one can share it. However, people will be resentful and deceived for helping other people by sacrificing their resources. Consequently, they will end up paying a far larger price. This is because proper giving must be a circulation rather than a one-way tunnel. When one gives, he should receive something in exchange. It is necessary to be able to keep giving relentlessly in the future. There should be proportionate give and take decorum. The best givers and recipients are always appreciated. The secret is to become prosperous and contented. Then only people may extend their arms and help others. Otherwise, they are simply shifting the scale from one edge to the other, rather than transforming the reality. Balance is achieved not when someone tilts down and the other person goes up. The equilibrium is reached when all persons remain at the same level. They should equally feel abundant, happy, and satisfied in their unique ways, while sharing their potentials, resources, and presence with one another. One should donate whatever he desires without any constraint. Everything is reciprocal. One should give love if one wants compassion. He should give money if he expects the same. One can give wisdom if he is after knowledge. The universe will always bestow humanity with a certain amount of what they aspire in life. All people want are things in abundance. Plenty will come back to the donor if he gives out what little he has. If people want to be wealthy, they can start by teaching others how to be wealthy. People will become affluent if they allow others to obtain it first. Sacrifice is the essence. By virtue of people's physical gestures of giving and receiving, they are in vibration tune with wealth and spiritual resources. Giving and receiving are two poles of the same affluent spectrum. That is why the wealthiest people are those who give maximum and get the most. God gives his real wisdom in exchange for the complete deeds of humankind. The law of giving and receiving. Insights of giving. The law of giving is essentially the discharge of one's resources, everything that is generated. It may be time, money, effort, tangible goods, encouraging words, or counseling. Whether people are aware of it or not, every second of human life runs on the concept of giving. The giver becomes the receiver, and vice versa. According to the law of giving, it is an endless, bountiful flow. That is quite simple. Even though people grasp the reciprocal nature of the flow in general, it is indeed critical to acquire crystal clear knowledge on the underlying principles that can either increase or lessen the outcomes. They are the doorway to a better understanding of how the law operates, and how one might use its authority for the greater welfare of all parties involved. To begin with, the law of giving and receiving states that the giver becomes the receiver. It doesn't say who is to give, and that is a key difference. The author of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, considered that conscious giving was the missing element in human lives. Know precisely what to desire. The majority of people get trapped because they are unsure of what they desire. Most people define what they desire in vague terms like greater health, excessive money, or improved relationships. However, they are unable to clarify what it means to them. People frequently rely on the traditional defense that they will come to know with experience. Decide precisely the measurement of donation and subsequent receipt. If one wants to be in excellent health, he must feed the body well and get enough rest and do physical exercise. If people desire to make more money, they must first provide something that their counterparts require or prefer. The golden rule should come first, that people may wish to have meaningful relationships. Are they willing to take on those responsibilities? They should decide exactly what they are willing to contribute in each circumstance, ensuring that it has actual value. Initiate the giving act. One should begin donating now, with no strings attached. It should be out of genuine gratitude. They must show thankfulness for whatever they have to give, no matter how big or little it may appear. One must initiate the cycle by giving first. It may happen that a donor is waiting for a long time to follow another giver who will give first. It might create confusion about when to donate, and time passes by. Train for the art of allowing. One should keep in mind that the law of giving is a cycle. The cycle will be disrupted if the giver is unable to receive. Some of the most gifted givers have been facing a difficult time receiving. They get incredibly inventive when it comes to removing the hurdles coming in the way, which, of course, breaks the loop. As a result, instead of releasing the flow, they propagate something odd in the law itself. Hill's book, Keys to Success, is simply one way of expressing the compelling seed money principle, which is at the heart of the law of giving. Everything individuals give in sheer gratitude, with no conditions tagged, will return to the givers with multiplied benefits. This is as per the seed money principle. To put it another way, people sow the seeds of their receiving by giving what they have. One should claim the tenfold return as soon as one contributes, ensuring that he is doing so out of pure thankfulness and with no extra benefits. Using a slogan like "a donor is glad to receive the tenfold gift in return," which has brought happiness to all concerned and will ultimately energize the giver. Besides, it will unfold return and help the donor practice the art of allowing, which is the art of opening oneself to receive. One should then give again, as soon as one receives something. People may allow the tenfold return to lead right into the tithing principle, which tells individuals to give at least 10% back to God of whatever they get. It is already a known fact that everything one gives is returned in multiplication. For the resources like money, time, and aptitude to support, they must be floated in action, and the only way to set them in motion is to donate. If people try to protect their valuables by hiding them beneath the proverbial carpet, they will choke and die, leaving people in an even worse plight. Treasure is only helpful to humanity if it serves a purpose. The law of giving teaches simple and universal concepts. It is said to be master key in every field. Whether it is basic science, if people want a distinct response, they must first offer a unique stimulus. Friendship, if one wants to make friends, he must first be a good companion himself. Or prosperity, if people want to make more money, they must first contribute. It comes well before the law of attraction. What one focuses on expands, and is the driving force behind the law of compassion. One should always treat others with the same amount of affection that he expects to receive from them. It is, in fact, the cornerstone for all natural laws that say one gets only that much what they give. When can one actually provide a gift that helps the recipient? The answer is while activating the law of giving and receiving, and individuals can feel the joy of giving in a manner that few people have ever done before. This flow of universal power is responsible for both human comforts and hardships. It is individual readiness to extend the love that keeps the world peaceful and prosperous. Is there such a thing as attraction and human affection? It is not about romantic attraction. It is an empathy shown toward all physical and abstract things, including wealth, property, position, and authority. Human attraction to this psychological trait has continued to shift, modify, and create conflict in a never-ending battle of the human dilemma. If that is not enough, people also try to cast remorse on themselves and everyone around them. It is the sheer feeling of loss rather than love. Interactions are destroyed all over the world because of this self-delusion in relationships with people. Most people believe that others are out to take something from them so they can receive more. It is truly a perpetual conflict between giving and receiving. Introverts and those with low self-esteem have the most turbulent time in offering and receiving compliments. They are unsure of what to give and how to make the assertions. Sometimes they may even think about why it is appropriate to give a compliment in the first place. When it comes to receiving compliments, some people lose words whenever anyone says something wonderful to them. It takes more than a social skill to give and take positive praises. Giving compliments is about more than just being courteous. Compliments, to be precise, are excellent communication openers and icebreakers. People can earn a date, a salary hike, and a new companion by perfecting the art of giving and receiving. It might even help them avoid unpleasant situations in life. Apart from being timid, many men have difficulty accepting compliments due to low self-esteem. It is because a negative thought in their mind tells them they are unworthy of the compliment. Also, the person who has offered the compliment is either lying or pitying them. In this materialistic society, people always assume that they would be quite pleased if they receive the things they want to secure. On the other hand, they often forget that before they can receive anything, they must first offer their hands to others to prove their sincerity. The law of giving and the law of receiving go hand in hand. They complete an energy cycle altogether. Satisfaction can only be achieved if people follow both laws and keep the cycle going. Happy people are both givers and receivers. They understand that giving benefits them as well as others. The energy of giving elevates everyone's mental frequency. People are uncomfortable when others give them something all the time, and they do not reciprocate. The point is, there are infinite ways to give back. To keep the giving and receiving tempo going, the individual who receives can give something to someone else. The odds are better that the receiver will not return anything to the giver, but will undoubtedly donate something of equal or greater worth to someone.